Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and mansters, frightmares of all ages, and everyone else, welcome to Binging Barbie. I'm your host, Jay, and with me I have my co host. He's alive! At least, I hope he's alive. It's so embarrassing when he's not. John! This is a podcast about movie tie ins for toy franchises, and this week we are continuing our deep dive into Monster High. Today we are going to be talking about Monster High Freaky Fusion. And with us to help dissect this movie is a returning guest, the creator and host of the Frankenfiles and a Monster High expert, Samariel.
Say artificially intelligent family member constructed in a lab. Oh, I'm so happy to be back, you guys.
Yeah, we're happy to have you back, especially for this one. Before we dive in, I did want to ask a bit about your Monster High history. I'm assuming, based on everything I know about you, you're a big fan.
So, Monster High was a little bit after my era as a kid, where like it was something that the kids I babysat watched, but I honestly didn't really know much about it as an adult, I say in heavy quotation marks. But I absolutely would wander the toy aisles just being like, "Oh, they look so cool. They're spooky and fantastic and all the different monsters." And I would like take them off the shelf just to like learn the lore. I was like, "Who's this character? What's their deal?" But like I never fully got into it until like I think college actually is when I sat down and watched 13 Wishes actually was the first
Okay.
one that I watched. And I was like, "Oh, this is super fun actually. I kind of dig this." Um and then, as I have gotten older, I have fully been like, "You know what? It's fine if I like Monster High. That's not embarrassing. It's actually kind of cool." To the point where I had tickets to go see Monster High live back in
Oh,
October, before the event got canceled, and when I tell you I was so sad that I couldn't go see Monster High live,
yeah.
devastated.
That's. Uh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
knowing everything I know about you, I can imagine that you are just this feels tailor made for you.
exactly. Once I gave myself permission to like things and not be embarrassed about it, Monster High was right there, and I was like, "All right, let's learn everything about it." And I have absolutely loved it, and I part of the reason why I'm on this episode is because this is the episode where you get in. This is the movie where you get into Frankenstein lore, and as the resident Frankenstein expert, uh, I was so giddy when I was like, "Wait, Victor Frankenstein's here!" Incredible to the point where, not to promote myself now, but we Frankenfiles did just put out the episode on Freaky Fusion because I knew we had to do it, and I knew if I was going to be on this show, I had to do it to him. So I'm just
Yeah,
I'm so excited. This movie, yeah, this is so fun. I'll let
yeah.
you do the actual stuff now
Well,
before I
yeah,
keep rambling.
we should promote your episode a second because it is very relevant. I just
Indeed.
watched it yesterday, and when this episode drops, it'll have been a few months, but or maybe a month and a half. I don't remember what the schedule is,
What is
but
time even really?
yeah, definitely anyone who's listening to this podcast who has any interest in Monster High is going to find the Frankenfiles interesting just from a how are different creators approaching the Frankenstein mythology and what aspects are they pulling out from it. And I mean, this Monster High episode that you made is just wonderful. You pull out so many details. I was glad listening to it that we had a lot of the same thoughts because
Oh
I was
yeah.
worried, having you on this episode, if I say the wrong thing, will they, you know,
Sam
will
will
they,
come at you with a
yeah.
giant hammer for being incorrect about your Frankenstein. No, I'm
So
a
yeah,
lot nicer than that, I promise.
oh no, no, I just didn't want to, a
I'll just look you in
nutcracker.
the eyes and tell you you're wrong. Oh god, the
Yeah,
nutcracker.
not to bring up old drama, but
Here's the thing, I just went and saw the Nutcracker yesterday,
oh
the
yeah,
ballet. The ballet that they made based off of the Incredible Barbie movie. Yeah. So, but yeah, listen. I understand you were you were you were coming at something you had no context for. You didn't mean to fully insult my baby, and that's okay.
We were
Yeah.
young and we didn't know better.
But now we're here. Like Barbie was like the old house that I used to live in that you guys rented for a while. You are now currently in my home that I am actively living in and have
Ah,
hung up all sorts of things on the walls. Like, this is Monster High is 1,000% my domain, and I am so excited that you guys did this, and that I'm really excited to talk about it.
Yeah. Now, quick before we dive in, I have a feeling I know who this is going to be, but who is your favorite monster from Monster High?
In general, like
The whole
the
whole
whole collection.
franchise.
Oh no. That's really difficult because I actually love quite a lot of these characters. Um, I gotta give it obviously get it out of the way now. Frankenstein, specifically, like Gen 2 and Gen 3 Frankenstein is really lovely, especially with Gen 3, with Frankie being canonically non-binary. I think is really, really interesting. It's a great way to take that character. I don't think Gen 3 has done enough with the Frankenstein elements to like properly bring that full force, but the groundwork's there and there's a lot of potential for really cool things there. So Frankie, my beloved. Um, but honestly, some of my favorite characters are like Twyla. I love Twyla. I think she's a really interesting character. Um, Spectra Vondergeist is actually if only for her design. I loved that her doll has like semi-transparent limbs, and I always thought that was the coolest thing. Um, Luna Matthews, daughter of the Mothman. I was obsessed. I loved it. Winona Spider, I think a character who I don't think has ever had a talking role in a movie, but her design is just so fascinating and the fandom freaking loved her. Um and Nathan Rott. I freaking love Nathan Rott. There's a running gag in my episode of just the number of times that I gush about how much I love Nathan Rott. He's so weird. He's so random. He's in this one movie and never again. And I loved him. I thought he was great.
Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about Nathan Rott quite a bit in this
Absolutely.
episode. But yeah, so for context for this movie, Freaky Fusion, it was released September 16, 2014, directed by William Lau, who any longtime listener will recognize that name. He is, of course, the director of many a Barbie movie, including Princess and the Pauper, most famously.
Classic.
Yeah, and this is written by Keith Wagner. This is his first Monster High movie, but he was a writer on Big Time Rush, Johnny Test, and Ever After High, Epic Winter.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And yeah, we have art direction once again by Byron Lebo and music once again by Steven Argula.
yeah. And of course, the plot goes out like this. So, Monster High is preparing to celebrate their bicentennial, and after presenting a project on her skeretage, Rebecca Steam convinces the ghouls to go into the catacombs in search of her father, Hezekiah Steam's secret laboratory. They find it, but Torlai activates a time machine which sends them back to 1814, the year Monster High was founded. While waiting to get back into the lab, Frankie stumbles on a class being taught by Hezekiah's team, and she watches as Sparky, a normie transfer student orphan, presents on his skeretage, and since he has no family, he built two robots, but they fail because, as Hezekiah explains, they do not have the spark of life. Frankie gives Sparky a prep talk after class, though he is more interested to know how she was made than taking her advice. And when the ghouls return to Hezekiah's lab to go forward in time, Sparky sneaks in behind them. Using modern day technology, Sparky is able to create a robot to begin rampaging through Monster High, trapping the ghouls inside. Frankie uses her own life force to short circuit the robots, releasing her friends but dying in the process. And right before she dies, though, she realizes that Sparky is actually Victor Frankenstein, her grandfather. And Hezekiah's steam comes through the time machine, and with his help, they are able to build a machine to recharge Frankie. It doesn't work at first until the ghouls all combine their memories of Frankie to create a spark that brings her back to life. And Hezekiah and Victor go back to their own time, and the monsters celebrate the Bite Centennial. Bite.
Oh yeah. The puns are rampant and unforgiving.
Now, you might notice in that plot summary, there's a big thing missing: the titular freaky fusion,
Yeah.
which
Yep.
is, I mean, this very much feels like they took two sort of 40-minute plots and kind of put them on top of each other. And so we have the main plot,
Forcibly
which is,
merged them, you might say.
yeah, yeah, like a freaky
Fuse
fusion.
them together.
Yeah, like every toy's favorite gimmick to have one day.
Oh yeah.
Fusions and hybrids and combination models. Ooh.
Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my.
It was bound
Yeah,
to
all
happen
in
one
one.
day. Surprised Barbie hasn't done it.
We're
Oh, she
Barbie
has to
fusing.
have at some point.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but they've got to have done like a mix and match, some sort of something or other.
Nightmare fuel.
Oh,
A
probably.
mermaid fairy or something with
Oh, has to
wings.
have. Almost
Yep.
Yeah.
guarantee.
But yeah, we have a whole bunch of different plots going on. We have this time travel plot line with all of these like grandfather paradoxes of people inspiring things that then go on to a grandfather paradox, classic. And then we have like this fusion thing, which is like we're seeing all of the fused ghouls learning to work with each other, sort of like a not multiple personality type thing, but kind of in that realm. Um, then we have the hybrids and sort of them as a metaphor for like multiracial and multi-ethnic people.
Hmm.
Um, one thing I thought was kind of interesting is that they all have sort of these powers from having sort of two different lineages. But yeah, it definitely feels like there's two ideas for the movie that are kind of
Oh yeah,
clashing into each other.
big time.
Oh boy. Also, the start and ending of this film is our favorite elements from Dreamhouse Adventures. That, oh, you
Oh
love
yeah.
that vlog style.
Ah, yes. The video blog. Yep, yep.
Yeah, the
I mean,
freeze frame.
do you like it more or less than Barbie the Parabellum
No,
tailored? Where
no,
Barbie's about to tell you a story, or is
it
it?
was never good. It was never good. Hey, at least this is the right timeline to do that sort of thing.
Hmm,
Dreamhouse Adventures was several years too late in order to do the vlog. This is right on the money.
fair enough.
So,
Yeah. No, I don't want to make you repeat everything you said in your video, Sam, but
Mm.
kind of what are your kind of thoughts on this plot?
Um. So yeah, the Freaky Fusion plot is something. It is also there, and it has some interesting characters. There are interesting elements to it, but it does kind of feel like it keeps sort of tripping and oopsing its way into the middle of this really interesting Frankenstein story that like I am frantically like sinking my teeth into going, "Oh wait, hold on. This is actually quite brilliant." And then all of a sudden Nathan Rott trips in and does something for 10 minutes on screen and I'm like, "Oh, okay, this is here too, I guess." Um because the Frankenstein storyline is quite fascinating and my show is all about deep diving on Frankenstein and breaking down the story elements there. And so the use of it here, of it being sort of Frankie trying to learn more about her heritage and you know learn more about her by understanding where she came from. That's super cool. Especially in the context of Frankenstein, which is you know sort of a story about corrupted legacies, kind of, and so that is really cool. And then you've got these this doll storyline because I can't describe it as really anything else other than, oh, these are the marketable toys that you can buy after leaving the film to go see these guys. It's
Yeah,
not so it's not so bad. Like it's not horrible where I'm like, okay, this is just ridiculous. Get them off screen now. This is just getting in the way of my Frankenstein story. Like it does get me invested enough in the characters where I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm very fascinated by what you're doing, but I do want to see what that freaky little freak in the background is doing with that giant robot in the basement. Um, so yeah, we'll talk for 5 minutes and then I gotta go see what he's about. Um, but yeah, it is a good story. I do like it. It just feels a little confused and random at a couple of points.
sure.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed the sort of Frankie and Victor aspect of it a little
Mhm.
bit more. I think the idea of the hybrid students and sort of their struggles, I think you could have built a lot more around that, but I do think it is compelling. The
Absolutely.
fusion aspect is maybe
Mm.
the least compelling.
Yeah.
I do like the sort of montage of the people learning to work together, but it doesn't ever lead into anything.
Nope. It's
So
like a 2-minute montage and then it's over. We did it. We figured it out. Everything's
yeah,
fine now. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, all right.
it is kind of like solving racism by,
We did it."
yeah. Suddenly, Cleo wasn't racist anymore.
Until
Uh,
she is again in the next
yeah,
one.
and yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll talk about Cleo further down, but I was disappointed in Cleo here.
Same goes to
Yeah.
Toralei. Oh, Toralei.
Yeah, Toralei I can be disappointed in because that's
Cle
the point of her character.
Yeah, Cleo and Torlai are kind
Uh,
of the sandpaper of this movie where I'm starting to get rubbed the wrong way and I kind of want this to stop.
Oh, I did like their therapy together.
Oh,
I thought that was kind of
yes.
funny.
That was fun.
I will say that the first half of the film was a little bit of a struggle because um this is time travel and that's so up my alley, and yet I'm 10 pages ahead of these characters and I'm waiting for them to figure out the very obvious clues.
Hmm.
I'm so surprised that it takes them the entire film for them to connect. Oh, Sparky, that's her grandfather. Where the minute he was introduced, I'm like, oh look, there he is.
Well, yeah, but also, kids movie. There's
You'd
certain
think
yeah.
that what that you're in the past, you could just hint at the possibility and question it, but Frankie never questions it because
Nah, she just wants to be helpful and
I
support
guess.
people who need support. But yeah, it does take I feel like way too long to get to Hezekiah Steam's laboratory, but we got to show off everybody's individual powers first so that when they're fused it makes sense, but it it's like when you watch like an episode of something that you know it's going to be a Groundhog Day episode, and so the first section of the episode is establishing here's all of the things that you're going to see looped for the next 40 minutes, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I know what we're about to get into."
Sure. Yeah. And it takes them several loops to figure out, I'm probably in a loop.
Yeah. So,
I do think the benefit of sort of Frankie not realizing it's her grandfather is we get the bigger emotional moments at the end.
yes.
And I think that's where this kind of stands out. You can get away with a lot of things in your first two acts if your third act really brings everything together. I just think this is an example of that.
I do really like actually that we don't realize that it's Victor because then it's not, oh, I have to help out this family member of mine. It's literally just Frankie being a really nice person trying to help this guy who's struggling. And I think that's cool. I also love the reveal. Like I know it's again, it's not a subtle thing. It's very like that is Victor Frankenstein. We all know it. We see him, you clock him immediately. But like The freaking the monocle reveal where he has heterochromia just like Frankie does, and he made her that way to reflect it. It's like, ah, wait, that's actually really cool. Like that was a really cool moment that I genuinely really loved.
Yeah, that was a surprising character moment because I was assuming Frankie had it because she's assembled from various body parts. So, oh,
Mhm.
she maybe has two different people's eyes, but no, to have that sort of the character through line there was added a lot of sort of depth to the unseen future, or I guess present version of Sparky Frankenstein, who's
Love that little freak.
yeah, I felt there were actual stakes and emotion in the third act, and you have Frankie actually dying.
She dies. They killed her. Like, yes, obviously they brought her right back, but she still like fully died. When me and my intrepid assistant Kel, we sit down to watch whatever we're about to make an episode out of. Usually after filming the previous episode, and I'm like, here's what the next project is. We sit down and watch it together. And Frankie died, and Kel like looked over at me and was like, "Is she dead? Did they kill a child in that movie?" And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, they sure did, bud. I mean, it's unclear what that means in Monster High because we have ghost students, but like,
Sure.
yeah, no, she dead. We killed that kid.
She was dead to begin with too, but
Yeah, she is
this is
distinctly
different.
alive.
Sure.
Yeah, the like much like age in the Monster High universe, life and death are not things to consider too deeply.
Yeah, that was a thing that bugged me actually, being in 1814, and Draculaura, who is canonically 1600, was like, why is everybody being weird? I'm like, girl, this is where you grew up. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we've had many conversations about Draculaura's age and various people's ages that are just kind of you have to not think about it because
Exactly.
otherwise it collapses. But yeah, I hadn't even thought about that going back to 1800. That's like you know last month for Draculaura, who's been around for
Honestly.
1600 years.
And like, well, Cleo doesn't necessarily have the same reaction, but she's also super, super old because she's a freaking mummy. And it's like, why are
Yeah.
you guys having this reaction to this kind of thing? You know this. You should know this. But again, this is the kind of thing where, like, the more you start looking into, like, Kel and I were discussing, like, did Sparky just say he has a bunch of organs in those robots? Where did he get those organs? And so it's like, I don't know, this is a school that has zombies for students, so presumably he like stole them from the cafeteria or something. Like, the more you think about it, the less sense it makes. And so you kind of just have to be like, all right, kids movie, pull it back, pull it back.
Yeah, but even within the limitations, I think they're kind of pushing. Again, Frankie dies. That's not something that tends to happen in these movies. I mean, it happens a lot in like the Pixar. They
Oh,
love
sure,
their
yeah, yeah.
death fake outs. Here it didn't. Sometimes it bothers me because it's frequently used for like some cheap emotion in
Mm.
like the last act. I think the one that really bothered me was Ralph breaks the internet
Oh,
because
yeah.
each time they do it, it gets a little bit shorter.
Mm.
So the but anyway, here I thought it was a little bit. They handled it a little bit better
Yeah.
because there wasn't the Deus ex machina resurrection. It was
And
actually
it's the payoff for Victor's arc of him
yeah,
finally understanding and bestowing the life spark in a way that actually succeeds. And it's like, oh, hell yeah, that's actually kind of cool. So,
yeah, and
yeah,
then
I
that
loved it.
gets into the grandfather paradox of it all, where because he does that to Frankie, now he's able to now he understands how to make Frankie's parents and Frankie.
Exactly.
So yeah, weird
Time is a
looping.
closed loop. For now, at least. Monster High goes places.
Oh yeah, it has gone places, and I assume it will go many places more.
Indeed. But yeah,
Any other
I
thoughts on the
liked it.
story?
None that really come to mind.
Yeah, no, I've mostly said my piece there. Yeah,
Okay.
it was rad, and I liked it.
Yeah. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Again, I have some issues with some stuff earlier on. I think it pulls it all together in the third act, though.
I gave it a 4 because the fusion line kind of brought it down a little bit, but not enough that I couldn't enjoy the things that were genuinely fascinating. And the fusion storyline does offer some good payoff in the end, even if it is confusing. But overall, I loved it.
I gave it a 3.4. A lot of it's just very nitpicky, like the story framing with the vlog. Um, I never love being 10 pages ahead of the characters, waiting for them to figure things out. Um, Little things here and there that aren't that really important to mention, but or that I even remember. But yeah, there you go. Just they just hurt point one for this film.
Yeah, so on to the characters. First up, we have Frankenstein, who is actually the protagonist here. She isn't always the protagonist, but yeah, as usual, she's the friendly and welcoming one of the group, both welcoming towards the hybrid students and then her sort of sympathy for her grandfather, who, as Samariel was pointing out, doesn't realize that's her grandfather. Which, yeah, I think you were very correct to point out, like, that is an important thing for her character, that she's helping him because she's a good person, not because time grandfather paradox stuff.
Yeah. She's just a nice person who likes to help, and I love that for her. I
Yeah.
think it's fabulous in the context as a distillation of Frankenstein of like this is the child that the incredibly wounded monster would have raised. I think it's incredibly sweet that she's the nice one who wants to help people. She recognizes injustice and she tries to help when she can. And I'm like, "Oh, wait, that's really quite sweet." She's a gem. I love her. I hate that her hand comes off. I will never like that her hand comes off. I think it's stupid. I've never enjoyed it in any iteration. Monster High is not the only team that does this, but other than that, I think she's great.
Yeah, I think this film put also a lot of emphasis of what her electrical shocks were.
Mm. Mhm.
Here, they're characterized as her life force. In previous films, it was just how she had emotion
Mm.
was she would show shocking. Um, Although very important about this one is they're a different color in this film. They're typically blue, but here they're green,
Mm.
which is for my continuity brain I hate so much, but it looks really metal.
Looks freaking sick, dude.
Yeah, and I mean, her love for her friends just leads directly into her self-sacrifice here.
Oh yeah.
That we understand, okay, yeah, she is willing to do that because she loves her friends that much. And then that her friends reciprocate that, and it's a sweet little moment of, everyone in Monster High coming together to share their memories of what happened last time on Monster High.
Indeed. Well, what's cool about Monster High that you didn't get with Barbie is it's an ensemble in the same place. Like it's not Barbie going off on 17 different adventures with a different name but the same face. It's we're in this one place and here are the things that continue to happen to the people here. And so you're seeing, Gigi Grant, you're seeing Rochelle Gould being like, hey, this thing that happened in the last movie, like this is what Frankie did for me. And I liked that it kind of pays off in that way where it's like, oh yeah, no, we know this history that happened and Frankie is in trouble. This person who's helped us needs help. We will absolutely give it because, they have that history. And I thought that was a really cool thing there with all of that. Because it's like, yeah, Frankie is the nice one. She wants to help with people, but she will get angry when you mess with her friends. And I loved seeing that side of her because you don't often see it. She tends to be the nice one who doesn't get angry. She's just, she's just so she's either concerned or she's happy or she's sad. But getting to see her angry was like, yes, that was great for me. Anyways,
Yeah, and we are getting to know a little bit more about her backstory here, more than we've ever known in any of these movies before.
It
exactly,
feels like a long time coming because her
absolutely.
backstory has just been a huge not talked about thing.
Because they introduce her where she's sort of the de facto protagonist because she's sort of the audience insert of like she doesn't know what's happening or what's going on. She's not from here. She's 16 days old. Everything is new, and so you get that. But she often remains hollow for that particular reason. Where like Frankie's not allowed to be a character because she has to be the camera. And so I really loved this movie of like getting to know about her and where she's from. Obviously because Frankenstein reasons, I'm a freak. But also just being like, yeah, no, finally we get to know about this person who we've seen for so many films now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, other movies would just kind of she would narrate the beginning and the end and then be gone for the middle as other characters kind of took the center stage. So, she's getting to have not only be a central character but have the entire plot of the movie be about her.
Mhm.
And she gets another solid romance subplot.
Yeah. One that I actually kind of believe.
Okay. Do are you oh, what is it? Skull Shores, the one with
I
Adam
have
the
not
King
Andy,
seen
Kong?
Skull
Andy,
Shores.
Andy.
Okay.
I
Andy.
know
Oh
I
yeah.
know vague things about it where like a bunch of tiki guys kidnap her to worship her as like a god or something.
It's King
Um
Kong. Um
And Beauty and the
okay.
Beast, but
yeah, yeah.
Fun.
That one we enjoyed the romance in that one. But yeah,
Bit.
the
sometimes her romance plots are
romance.
not the
Oh
best.
yeah. Well, I watched a bunch of the TV show when I found some clips on and especially like the Monster High fandom, they love Jackson Jekyll. They think Frankie and Jackson deserve to be together, that they're like perfect for each other. And there's a lot of headcanons of like Frankie Jackson and Holt as like a thruple kind of a situation. I never understood it. I never really liked it. Um but I did enjoy especially in this film because he's not Nathan isn't very like overbearing about the situation. He's very understated, but he has his own distinct personality that supports her. And I thought like they genuinely worked quite well together. But I'll
Yeah.
talk more about that when we get to Nathan. But it was a
Yes.
good romance. I actually liked it.
Yeah. Next up we have Rebecca Steam,
More
who
Rebecca. This is like
yeah.
what the second film in the role
Love her.
that we get like another backstory for Rebecca that I thought that she was just gonna be this one time character, but no, she
Nope.
gets more, and it's all
She got more.
great.
And there's even more in her diaries because Rebecca, after she was made, I can't remember the timeline exactly, but like Hezekiah Steam disappeared and she went and lived with the Frankensteins.
Oh.
Like they were sort of her adoptive parents for a while, and then she died on the
Yeah.
track, Uh, which is wild. Rebecca's whole situation is freaking wild, but like yeah, she entirely off screen, never mentioned once in the TV show or anything. It's purely in the diary, but like she lived with the Frankensteins for a while and they were sort of a second set of parents to her when, Hezekiah vanished. A thread that never gets paid off on, by the way. I'm sorry to tell you
Oh.
this.
Meanwhile,
But
she has that vampire heart inside her
Yeah.
as well.
From Fright's camera
yeah.
action.
This is an odd timeline that they're
Oh, it's
developing here.
weird.
How old is Hezekiah? How old can he be?
I don't know. Cuz he's a
Age is
he's a cyborg man, so he's however old he wants to be.
I
Slash
mean,
I
it's
don't
just his
know.
hand.
Well, but if you his iris is also a cog. So I'm assuming he's got other parts in him too.
Hmm.
That man is at least
Yeah.
partially robot.
Robert.
Again, age in Monster High, age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
It has no significance to any characters at all.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
There's a 32-year-old attending Monster High and Fright On.
Of course there is. I mean, some of
He's
these
not.
students are several thousands of years old, and it's like, oh no, but they're teenagers.
Fright On, the design for one of the characters is just an adult man werewolf. Like a full-on
Oh,
Like
adult.
yeah.
an actual grown man.
Yeah, who's a high
Incredible.
school student.
Yeah.
No, we also should talk about Rebecca and Draculaura and their sort of
Oh,
interesting
and their
relationship.
fusion.
Yeah, because often we'll have less often like fusion. I guess fusion stories do happen, but when you have two characters inhabiting the same body, usually they're kind of like fighting for control. Here they're fighting to not be in control. They want the other person to take charge.
Which
Thought
is
that was just kind of a
wild.
fun.
No, I like that. It's definitely more interesting than if they were both fighting for it.
Yeah.
But although then again, you would have that up against Cleo and Toralei, which is sort of that element. So you kind of need the different
Yeah.
bit there.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
speaking of Cleo and Toralei, they also have their fun little arc here that it really shows how similar they are. They hate each other in part because they see themselves in the other.
absolutely. Which
But yeah,
is
that I
fabulous because they have two completely different backgrounds. One is an Egyptian princess, and the other is a street cat.
yeah, you could
Toralei was
maybe.
literally found in a dumpster. That is
Oh,
canonical.
it's like Cats the movie.
I think you will find it's Bats the Broadway show when we get to Boo York, Boo York.
Oh,
Oh
oh
yeah.
no.
Oh yes.
But yeah, I
Anyways,
also think it does show how different they are. Now, I'm a Cleo fan, which is why I'm a little bit hurt with how she treated people in this movie. Usually she's like catty in a fun way. Here she's catty in a racist way. And that's
dang.
not quite as much fun.
No. I'm always frustrated with Cleo as a character because out of all of them, she is the least monstrous. She doesn't have any particular monster qualities or abilities, really. She's just kind of rich, vaguely Egyptian, and mean. She has some interesting character moments sometimes. But I always want more from Cleo, and I never quite get it. And then in this one where she's like, shouldn't they just make up their mind? And I'm like, damn, Cleo, what? I guess you are 1,000 some years old, so this isn't too out of left wing, I guess, but also Jesus.
Yeah. And usually she's a little bit better about that. And I think the plot line of her and Toralei, their sort of relationship, it does also show how different they are. And that deep down, Cleo is actually a good person. She's just from this background where she's been taught to expect everything, um and Toralei isn't, Toralei's kind of scheming behind the
Torlei's
scenes, and
Torlei's just mean. Like
yeah.
she's just the most obnoxious at
But
every
yeah,
time, all the
I
time.
think giving Cleo that, like, be having Cleo be like bigoted against the hybrid students, it detracts a bit from her character here.
Not ideal.
And I continue just to be constantly frustrated with Toralei.
Yeah, she's rough.
Well, she's just a tool for the plot. If
Yep.
they need a conflict or an antagonist or just a
You get
method of
Toralei.
getting into the actual plot, Toralei.
There she is.
I hate that so much. Just let
Yeah.
her do something else. Why does she always have to be the conflict? She knocks down a ladder and a rope in this one.
Oh yeah, Toralei caused several accidents that day. And that was pre-OSHA in 1814. So those guys, they are just screwed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did enjoy that her version of causing problems in 1814 was just stealing as many hats as possible. Because honestly, same girl, same.
Yeah, I feel like you could build something interesting. So Samariel, since you mentioned the backstory, I didn't realize her backstory was, this tragic. You could build something of that between her and Cleo, and sort of the resentment she feels as like Cleo had this very privileged upbringing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's nowhere in these
Yeah, it never
movies.
comes through. That is sort of the unfortunate thing about these kind of doll bits of media is you have these several different departments who are not necessarily talking to each other and are not making overarching plans to deliver on genuinely impactful storylines. You've got people making several different decisions to just get something out there and put it in front of children, and that tends to take
Yeah.
a detrimental effect on the story.
You've got the most emotionally resonant Godzilla movie coming out a few months before Godzilla X Kong.
Beautiful. Having the teaser trailer for that film come out the day after it comes out in the US, tonally two very different films. I'll enjoy the
Yeah.
heck out of both of them though, so.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk a bit about Ghoulia here because she's one of our favorite characters in the Monster High
Love Julia.
universe. She,
I loved the moment everyone was like, "Gosh, this thing is all broken. Someone's gonna have to fix it," and they just all turn to look at Gulia. She's just like, fine." I love Gulia.
yeah, it's always fun when she gets a bunch to do because she's such an interesting contrast to the other characters. And here she's like getting to solve puzzles and fix machines and do all of these things that she's genuinely quite good at, but then also having that sort of, the not reluctance. What is the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like eye rolly.
Oh yeah, she puts up with their antics because she
Yeah,
loves them, but also it's just lovely. They have a very good dynamic there with that, and I enjoy it thoroughly.
yeah. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about the other ghouls because they kind of just are there.
Yeah, that is the downside of this movie is there's several characters here to be fusion fodder and nothing else. Because I
Yeah,
loved Venus as like Venus was one of the character. She was one of the first. She came after shortly after like Abby. Like she was very close to the original run. And I loved her style. I thought she looked so cool and I was like, "What's her deal? What's her situation?" And she gets very little screen time in the show or in most of these movies. We never properly get a Venus backstory in any film version. And so it's like, "Oh, cool. She's in the oh, I'm so excited to see what it is." And it's, well, she's not really on screen. It's mostly Claudine with Venus's powers.
yeah,
Disappointing. Same
yeah,
with
and even
Jennifer.
yeah, and even like Claudine and Laguna don't get a ton to do.
Hmm.
Like they have a lot of lines, but they don't have.
Venus? Was she in
V-
this?
yeah,
Venus the flytrap, yeah.
she's the poison ivy one.
What?
She fuses with Claudine, which is why Claudine like starts making plants grow and go crazy.
Oh, well, I missed her. I didn't even notice that she was part of the
That's
gang in this one.
yeah, that's totally reasonable because this is a story with an absurdly large group of friends purely because we're going to merge half of them together partway through.
Yeah, but then
So,
the
it's
best one was down to one joke. No
Oh,
Abby.
Abby, our favorite
Ah,
yeah,
Abby,
love Abby.
just
But you
not
know
enough.
she wouldn't have put up with any of this bullshit. Ah, dang it. No. I made it almost through this episode without swearing. I'm so sorry. But yeah, no,
You're all
Abby
good.
absolutely would have. She would have taken one look at the situation and been like, absolutely not.
Yeah, uh, I miss having Abby regularly be a part of the main plot of these movies. It's been a
Mhm.
while. We're missing our Abby.
Shout out to our favorite Yeti.
Yeah.
At least
Now,
she gets one good joke in this one, so.
yes, I do like her wheeling out the giant ice frozen
Family history
monster.
begins with Ice Age. Uh,
Uh,
Abby. I love her.
Yeah, and as we've said before, like there's a large cast. Not everyone's gonna get their spotlight
Mhm.
in these, but yeah, it is there. There are certain characters like Venus McFlytrap who has been in the background of like half of these movies. It has never been characterized beyond, oh, she's an environmentalist.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, now we gotta talk about Nathan Rott.
Nathan!
Nathan! Nathan, my boy.
Best
Oh,
character.
yes. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I love him. I think he's fun. He's an interesting male lead. He's not even really a male lead. He's sort of the boy toy. I don't know. He's the most major. Well, he's not the most major. Victor is the most major. He's the second most major male character in this story, and I loved every second he was on screen because he's just such a dweeb in the best way. He's just a
Yeah,
klutzy little doofus, and I love his design. I think it's really cool the way they did it, like the zombie gut rock like vibe of it. The color scheme is a little wild, but I still love it. It's fabulous. I think he's great. You don't see a lot of boys with long hair, and I'm sure that's probably because he's a horseman. But I enjoyed like seeing a different style of dude because there are several dudes and they're all kind of the same. They tend to all be either like super jock or super nerd. That's
yeah,
sort of the dichotomy of men in Monster High. And so it's kind of nice to have a guy who's sort of in the middle, he's just doing his best. He's just a clumsy little guy who kind of has a crush on a cute little Frankenstein girl. We've all been there. And so it's like, ah, every moment he was on screen, he was so earnest and sweet, and I loved it. And I will now stop talking about Nathan Rott.
well, now I need to talk about Nathan Rock because I agree with pretty much everything you said there. Like his character design shouldn't work. Like that color scheme should not work, and yet
Right?
somehow the way they pulled it together, it does.
It's fabulous.
He's wearing the tricolor, the three colors of the Ecuadorian flag,
Oh,
and Colombian and Venezuelan. I don't think that's anything intentional. I think that's just they chose three colors and it happened to be yellow, blue, and red. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, his character design, he has the little like James Cameron boy strand of hair falling down his face, and yeah.
I
Also
I
like.
like
didn't
zombie
quite get his
unicorn.
zombie appearance from him, besides the gray, but
I
Oh,
mean
and the
it's the
scar on his
shirt.
face.
the scar wasn't really well defined.
It should have been more defined, correct? But yeah,
Yeah.
it is mostly in his clothes and the vague scar and kind of being gray and falling all over the place.
Mm.
Yeah. Zombie unicorn is just an odd concept that I think is so
The
interesting.
hybrids in general are insane to me. And there was a lot of discussion with me and Kel of like, okay, is his mom a unicorn and his dad a zombie and they had a kid in a weird way? Or was he a unicorn that got bit by a zombie? Or like what's
A
the deal?
zombie that got bit by a unicorn?
Or you shut up. Dang it. You know what I mean.
No, I'm flipping it around for comedic effect.
Oh, okay. I thought I talked wrong.
No.
Okay. But yeah, that would also be fun. I would watch that. The man spider approach. I like it. Um but yeah, it was just like what's their deal? Oh shoot. Serena talks about having a ghost side of her family and a mermaid side of her family, which does imply that she is not a mermaid who died, but that she is the child of a ghost and a mermaid who had a kid. But that also makes no sense, and the more I think about it, the more confused I get. So
Yeah. It's
their
very
designs are
much
great,
like,
their
yeah.
personalities are fun. Their existence baffles me.
Oh, I was just thinking because I think middle school there was a song called Unicorn Zombie Apocalypse that I would listen to while studying my 700 brutal dubstep drops to relax and study to.
This sounds very familiar. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but that does ring some bells for middle school me.
I would sing the lyrics, but the lyrics are a British guy going Unicorn Zombie Apocalypse, and then the drop
Oh, by
happens.
Glory Hammer.
Okay, I did not
I
know
think
who it was
so.
by.
If it's what I think, then it's anyways, completely
Yeah,
irrelevant. But yes,
that Nathan made me think of
I
that
love
song, even
Nathan.
though no apocalypse and no real connection to the song beyond just the two things existing.
Here's a weird zombie unicorn man. He
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense except for the fact that he's perfect.
yeah, exactly. John, are you as on board the Nathan train as the two of us?
I mean, I was a little weirded out by him. It's like, are they trying to corner the brony market by getting them onto the Monster High train with this guy?
Ooh, that's a thought I hadn't had.
I
Interesting.
don't think it quite worked out, but
No,
still,
not at all.
that's what I thought every time I saw him. It's like, interesting. I have I've seen cosplays that look very similar to that guy.
That fully tracks.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would like connect at all to that aspect, because that was a thought I had of like, oh, there's like a the vibe of him of like that specific side of bronies that's like, oh, the slightly darker, edgier Fallout Equestria type stuff. So,
Oh hell yeah.
Sure.
which I don't know much about except through what John has told me, but
But yeah, the hybrids, they're pretty cool.
yeah, they don't get a ton of space for development, but we do kind of get a little bit. We have I'll mispronounce all of these probably. Avia Trotter, who's kind of she's the most skeptical of Monster High, and like she's been burned one too many times, and she kind of knows not to expect too much.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Then the only other one who really stood out character wise to me was Serena Von Boo, the mermaid ghost, who is the airhead, and there's
And
just that moment
she
in the lab. Oh,
oh
go ahead.
yeah. No, I genuinely that is one of the moments that I don't know why, but it delights me where Victor's just like the only thing funny happening right now is that mermaid ghost is not paying anything to this conversation. This is a good one. But yeah, Serena is the only one of the hybrids who really come back.
Okay.
Because I think Monster High realized we don't have a lot of ghost characters. So for Monster High Haunted, she is I don't think she plays a major role. It's been a while since I watched that movie, but she is in it and gets to talk and have things to say, as opposed to everybody else who's just a character in the background.
Yeah, I'm sad Nathan's not coming back because
Yeah.
uh,
His model appears in in Boo York when people are having thoughts about romance and you see all the different couples
oh
dancing. But that's
oh
it.
we didn't talk about Nathan. Apparently was at one point intended to be a queer character.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is according to Garrett Sander. He did after leaving Mattel, he did like a whole big Q&A and confirmed a whole bunch of different fan theories, including that Nathan Rott was at one point intended to be a queer character.
Like he was meant to be gay or like
That is all that the Instagram post said, was
oh,
that
just
Nathan
a
Rott was intended at some point and then Mattel didn't want to do it.
that's disappointing.
Yeah. I would assume they were going more for like the bi or pan side just because he has that relationship with Frankie, but
He
yeah.
does have maybe it's the hair, maybe it's just the vibe. He does have I've met that bisexual guy at a rock show. I've been in pits with guys like him who are just the nicest person in the most grungy clothes who cannot stop tripping over themselves. So, hell yeah. I'd believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So we should also talk about Victor. Is it
My
Frankenstein
boy!
or just Stein? I
Victor
don't remember.
Frankenstein. They said it
Okay.
is Victor Frankenstein. It is
Okay. Yeah.
fully Victor Frankenstein. And the whole reason that I watched this movie as many times as I did, um, I love him. I love him so much. They did a really good job with him, in several different ways. There's a I okay, so what you need to know is I have been spending because I've been trying to get this episode out before we recorded today. So I have been in the weeds. I have been deep in the trenches of this film. And so I've watched several clips over and over and over, and there are a lot of really awesome little touches that they do animation wise with Victor to convey his character. Um, his storyline is incredibly apt. I think it's very fascinating the way they set him up, where um, the motivation people give the restraints should be deploying on your chairs now as I take over this show to ramble about Frankenstein for the next 20 minutes. But um the way they establish the Frankenstein narrative in this is interesting because the motivations people give Victor for creating life, that's pivotal. Like that establishes who is your Victor and what's his deal, because there are so many different ways that people take it. In the original novel, he's kind of a bastard who wants to claim fame and glory for creating a new race. In a lot of the modern adaptations, he wants to prevent people from dying, and which doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you get into the weeds of it, but we'll not get into that. People have tried sort of different versions of why is he doing this, and making him an orphan who is trying to create his own family, a fascinating take. I really love that. Especially because I talk about this in the video of it really puts him on the level of the monster from the novel, whose whole thing was I want one person to love me. That's all I want out of this shitty world, and I swore again. I'm sorry. But the one thing I want out of this world is someone who will love me. And so Sparky making himself a family is actually quite on that level, which is fascinating. I love that. Like that really tickled my brain. And there's other things. I loved his design. I loved how he goes from being just sort of a fabulous little dweeb, to an absolute mad scientist freak in the best way. Like, I want that tattered coat. I want that triangled monocle. Like, I want that lightning bolt cravat pin. I would love that. Like, it's just fabulous. And then on the tiny levels of things, I know we'll probably talk more about this when we get into like vocal performances. The person doing his voice is doing a very good job of doing an impression of Colin Clive from the original Frankenstein, but making him a teenager. Like that's a weird line to walk, probably a very difficult line to walk, but he does it and it's fantastic, and I loved it. Everything about it was fantastic. The way they delivered him, the way he was presented, his insanity, his weird little ticks. It was perfect from a Frankenstein perspective. Top tier, triple S rank, no notes. I loved it. All right, I'm done.
Th- yeah.
Time.
Thank you for that, because I haven't read Frankenstein in many years, so I don't have all of the literary analysis there for the character. Yeah, John, I don't know if you had thought of any of that while watching it, but
I mean, the only thing of note this was that I found his motivation much more interesting than probably his original counterpart. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is cool. I
yeah,
love it.
I think he is a very interesting antagonist here, and not even a full. He's not the villain. He's just
Mm.
kind of, he wants to have a family, and he's going to do a lot of crazy things to get there. And then we have the robot monster he creates also having inherited this desire for family and recognizing that it's missing that spark of life, which leads to
Generational
that.
trauma.
Yeah.
Hate to see it. Sorry, continue.
Oh no, yeah, no, that is perfect for describing sort of the way that, I mean, it's a Monster High movie, but I do also want to give the writers a little bit of credit for like going into the way that, kids inherit the things their parent like can sense the things their parents want from them, and sometimes inherit those, like, yeah, yeah, generational trauma, as you put
It's
more
it's
succinctly than
it's so
I'm
fabulous.
doing it right now.
Again, this is a children's movie, but the layers that they put on this Frankenstein aspect was so fabulous to see. And I'm just like, wait, hold on, this is brilliant, actually? Is this amazing? Hold on, is this the best movie I've ever seen? No, it's not. It's not the best movie I've ever seen. But genuinely, I don't know who it was in the writer's room that decided to flex a little extra that day, but it was great and I loved it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And this is what I've been wanting from these Monster High movies, is to take the original monster stories and build off of it, kind of like how Barbie did it with fairy tales.
Hmm.
Like, take these ideas and play around with them and do adaptations, because we don't fairy tales, we tend to think of reimaginings quite often. We don't think of that as much with monster stories, even though it is just as, or perhaps even more common, to
Mhm.
take a monster story and sort of reinterpret it. And yeah, a lot of these Monster High movies are just kind of like, it's a high school movie but with monsters. So when we actually get into, you know, these movies that are dealing with the original text and trying to pull things from those, that's always just fun.
Mhm. I'm sad Victor never. I'm sad that in Monster High we never see Frankenstein. This is the only time we see Victor, and we never see him again. Because I think it's disappointing that you establish, especially with Frankenstein, these themes of family, these themes of legacy, and then it's like, okay, never mind. We're never gonna touch that again. I'm like, no, you established something really cool. Let's build on that. It's like, no, we gotta go to New York.
Not New York, Boo York.
Sorry, Boo York.
Yep, yep,
Uh,
yep.
Shrug.
Now, last up on our characters to discuss here, we have Hezekiah Steam, who is, I think, a horrible teacher. You do not tell a student that they are your least favorite student, even if it's paying off something that was said in the beginning of the movie.
You
Yeah.
do in 1814, though.
That's
Okay, maybe.
fair. Oh man. I
Oh,
remember
poor
I
Mr.
watched this
Rotter.
with a friend. That Mr. Rotter's fine. Listen, he's the one who's lying to his students about his history.
Yeah.
So, but I watched this with a friend and they were like, "What's that guy? He's just a guy. What's his deal? Why is he in monster school?" And I'm like, "Well, he is partially robot question mark." And they're like, "And that makes him a monster? Having a robotic limb has makes him a monster?" And I'm like, "Listen, man, I didn't write the thing."
I mean, Victor is kind of just a guy, too.
Correct. He's the normie exchange student.
Mm,
But yeah,
normies.
normies. Oh yeah. Hezekiah, yeah. He's a very well-meaning guy, I think, mostly, although he's also a bit oblivious about he also seems a little like he's the one telling Victor like, "Hey, you're a little bit oblivious about humanity and emotions." And I'm like, "You're slowly turning yourself into a robot. What exactly are you doing with your
Yeah.
humanity and emotions?" And for the record, I have a little bit of a vendetta here because
Oh.
they did not. I have been informed succinctly by a different Monster High expert. They did not make a Victor Frankenstein doll, but they did
Oh.
make a Hezekiah Steam doll. And so
What?
I'm like, oh,
That's
come on. He was a San Diego Comic Con exclusive in
Ah.
2014, 2015, or 2015 would have had to have been, or 2015. Him, it's like a double set with him and like a chrome, not chrome, it's like a shiny brass Rebecca. So it's like a double set. So I'm like, oh, come on. They made one for the professor who's only in like 2 scenes in this movie, but they didn't make one for Frankie's actual grandfather.
yeah.
I
That
do
that's
I do like Hezekiah's look.
Steampunk, yeah.
Love a steampunk.
Oh yeah.
His voice is very fun. Like I won't lie, Hezekiah Steam, kind of a beautiful man. I'm about that. I'm not complaining. Not a great teacher with the whole yeah, you're my least favorite student, dude. You can't say that. He is trying to help Victor, but hey man, dangerous interpersonality. You know he's not sticking around after class to talk to you. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, and it yeah, he's just he kind of serves more of a plot function than a character function here, but
Indeed.
yeah, he just kind of shows up when he needs to show up and does what he needs to do, and
And he's an interesting hook. Like he vanished 100
yeah.
years ago. Cool. What what happened? And then we never like nothing is ever built
Yeah.
off of that, which is disappointing. Like
Where was
he's
he when Rebecca was murdered during a game of roller skates?
who knows? Oh my gosh.
Where was
So
anyone when Rebecca was murdered during
Rebecca, I don't know. Monster High will just say something and then not think about the implications, leaving you and you alone to go, wait, what?
I mean, Claudine murdered someone in one of the recent ones we watched, so
Oh, did she?
yeah, because there was in Scaris, Madame Ghostier is a ghost who will fade
Oh,
from
yeah.
existence if people don't pay
Oh,
enough attention to her. And then
yes.
Claudine sort of takes over the stage, and then not even like, oh whoops, we didn't mean for that to happen. She goes, now that Madame Ghostier is gone. Like what?
I mean,
Claudine, did you
she
murder her?
was kidnapping people and slowly brainwashing them, so it's like, I don't feel too bad.
Yeah.
You're
But
already a
also
ghost. You had your time on this earth. But also, yeah,
yeah.
that is wild.
Monster, oh man,
Monster High, man. They'll just say something and you are left with the consequences.
uh,
Anyway, but
speaking
yeah.
of consequences, I gave the characters a 4.5 out of 5.
I gave it a 4.75 because I thought they were all really cool, but not enough space was given for all of them to shine.
And I gave it a 3.3.
Yeah. I don't know if this is fair to say, but I kind of feel like the characters were better than the story was at times.
Yes.
The characters are kind of more compelling, which has often been the case with these Monster High movies. I think having so many characters, you end up with a lot of interesting plot lines that or character lines that don't really lead to anything. Again, like you were saying with the Hezekiah thing, like, yeah, it would be cool if he showed up again, but I guess not.
Here's a one of the original teachers at Monster High who
Yeah.
vanished mysteriously. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
So,
So we have the
okay.
visuals up next. And this one, John, you'll be able to maybe confirm, or maybe Samariel if you have paid attention to the visuals sort of as they've developed throughout the series. It looked like they were using updated textures here.
I It didn't look like that to me.
Okay.
It looked the same. It's been a few weeks since we last watched a film, so maybe we were refreshing our brains. Um, but no, generally our main characters still look the same. Maybe our new characters look slightly updated, typically, but it looked about the same to me.
Yeah. Maybe it was just that I think the lighting was a lot better in this one than it has
Sure,
been in previous ones.
lighting can make a big difference.
But yeah, I don't know. Things just look kind of sharper than they have in the past. But speaking of in the past, the 1814 segment looks so washed out. Like they're obviously trying to make a distinction of the different time periods, but I wish they had done it in black and white rather than just kind of like here's the same
Turning
color
the
scheme,
saturation
but
down a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
turning brightness up, saturation down.
You know, that could have hid so many things about the background. Specifically, half of the background characters were just recolors of Claude, and the other
Yes.
half were just recolors of the headmistress.
Yeah, because Claude is the one with the sideburns, so
The mutton
they
chops,
do.
yeah.
So like they go to the classroom, and I spotted 5 different Claudes in that room.
'Cause they had one freaking model with the mutton chops, and they just had to, because that's the style.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, either that or they were just skeletons.
Yeah,
I
and they
will
can't.
say, though, the one thing that stood out to me the most visually was Heath's head being on fire and how it lit the room when
Mm.
he
Oh,
was alone in there. It's just like, that's a weird effect. Heath usually is never on fire. Why? I don't
Mm.
know, but it looked really fancy. So
In
maybe there was a new lighting effect that they added that made things like that stand out more.
I really enjoy there's the character designs, especially for like the hybrids and what, were fantastic, and I really loved a lot of that. But in editing, because I edited so many clips of this movie and like rewatched those same clips several times over, and there were a lot of little things that I just kept noticing of like the tiny. So like there's a moment where Hezekiah Steam goes to put his hand on Victor's shoulder, and Victor shoves it, or like shrugs his shoulder out of the way. Like there's these just like little details, like there a feather comes out of Avia's wings, and Cyrena starts going off to follow it. Like it like little details that really established character in a really distinct way. Like just a lot of little things that I noticed. I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool little bit that you put in there. And I think that's really fascinating. You know, stuff that wouldn't mentioned in any way, like visually or verbally. It wasn't a part of any of the story. It was just like, here's this purely visual thing to establish character and personality, and I'm like, I love that. So
yeah. Yeah, and that has been a strength of these Monster High movies, the background details and the sort of I've noticed more of the background details than the sort of small moments. But yeah, the you can tell that a lot of effort was put into it.
The
Um
time travel elements looked really cool.
yeah.
that teleporter lens.
Time portal, sorry.
Yeah, it's not a time machine, it's the time teleporter.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Rebecca? How is it not a time machine?
The Tim teleporter. I
Only
I was just
teleports guys named Tim.
oh no, it's My Immortal, one of the famous
Oh,
spelling
yes, yes.
mistakes. Now I
Mistakes.
have been
Nope.
My Immortal. I feel like My Immortal and Monster High are like exist
Oh
on
yeah.
parallel to each other.
Oh yeah. You like My Immortal like stumbled, like it's one of those like My Immortal walked so that Monster High could run kind of a thing.
But yeah, no, My Immortal stumbled and fell on its face so that Monster High
Monster High
could
could run.
run.
Yeah, yeah. Because the one of those that I'm usually saying is Smallville took too many shots in the bar so that, oh god, what is it? Oh, Smallville took too many shots in the bar so that Supernatural could stumble blindly out of the street so that Riverdale could run right into traffic. That's the version of that I usually say. Anyways.
You
Yeah,
dissing
that
Smallville?
No, but listen, I love Smallville, but Smallville was absolutely the first of these like episodic, here's this really ridiculous situation that makes no sense that we're never going to talk about again in the next episode. We established something really weird, we'll never speak of it again.
Yep.
I loved Smallville. I was a big Smallville kid. Having just watched Superman and Lois for the first time, it's making me want to go rewatch Smallville. But yes, like Smallville was absolutely like the blueprint for everything CW after. Anyways, Monster High.
Yeah. Monster High.
Monster High CW show, is that something that could
No,
work?
don't put
No.
that out there. Don't even
No.
say it.
They were already playing with
Here's the
powerpuff
thing,
girls.
the
We don't
live
need
action
Monster High
musical
2.
already exists.
I just want Monster
Oh
High
boy.
in college.
I would find that interesting. It wasn't honestly, I don't think well, I haven't watched many of the G2 movies, but it wasn't until like Gen 3 that I was like, "Oh, Monster High is a boarding school." Oh. I don't know why I never like properly
They
they never
don't
show us like their
show, yeah,
bedrooms. Yeah.
yeah.
So I never was like, "Oh, they live here." They stay on this
But
campus.
at least a few of them don't, because like Cleo lives with her dad, at
Yeah.
least in some iterations.
It's
That could honestly change movie to movie.
honestly.
We see them constantly walking through the gates up to the school entrances in these first few films, so
That's the models they have. They have the giant. That's why it's the entire intro is the giant Monster High model that they already have. But yeah,
Monster.
anyway, back to the animation.
Yes, visuals.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Say I'm sort of coming off of the Barbie movies. What we noticed is that the animation here is so much more dynamic.
Hmm.
The camera is moving more, the angles are different, and that's been a thing. The first of these Monster High movies was directed by two people who worked on one of the Hot Wheels TV shows,
Mm-mm.
and I mean, it looks like a racing thing. The camera's constantly moving. Now they've kind of settled down. I think William Lau kind of brings a little bit more of a, the camera isn't constantly moving, but you're still getting interesting
Mhm.
angles and dynamic shots.
Yeah, absolutely. There were some really cool sequences in this because this one wasn't like there wasn't a lot of crazy action. Mostly with the big monster fight at the end, and maybe like a little bit with finding Hexakiah's lab in the beginning. But
Yeah,
it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like necessarily cut for action all the time, which did like let you kind of sit and ponder with some of the stuff. But like it is definitely more dynamic than Barbie. You are very correct about that. Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting. I really liked it.
yeah. I gave the animation a 4 out of 5. Uh, A lot of the character designs as well. We talked about that a little bit before, but especially the hybrid characters just look cool.
Oh yeah, I gave it 4.25. I've loved the character designs, and all them little touches that I saw while I was editing. Stunning. I thought it was great.
I gave it a 3.2. The point 0.1 demerit was for all the redesigns of Claude.
Totally fair.
Yeah. Next up, we have the performances. Yeah, I don't have a ton to say about here. I did want to shout out. Let me. Josie Montana McCoy plays both Nathan Roth and Victor Frankenstein here.
Incredible, incredible. My two special boys, phenomenal. Yeah, no, like I said, doing an impression of Colin Clive, but making him a teenager. That's a that is a difficult line to walk, but I genuinely think he delivered. And Nathan Rott is just great. I had no idea they were played by the same person, so
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it is. We get a lot of people here that are played by the same person. I do think one issue that I had is that the fused characters, it was kind of difficult, even when they're most of them I think are played by different actors, but I couldn't always distinguish who was talking and who, like, which person was who of the fused characters. I think specifically with because Rebecca has a different accent here than she has in previous movies. It's a different
slightly
voice
British.
actor. Yeah, because usually she's a little bit. I don't know. There was some difference there that made her sound a little bit too close to Draculaura, where I couldn't always tell who was talking. Like, obviously, if they're talking right after each other, I could go, okay, that. But yeah, for some reason, just because they're talking out of the same mouth, um, and especially with like, I guess with Venus McFlytrap and
Claudine.
Claudine, they have distinct enough voices, but I think Torale and Cleo, there was a little bit of overlap there. That was it was kind of hard for me to tell them apart sometimes.
The only thing with Toralei, sometimes for shorthand, she'll just do the thing, and that is sandpaper to my ears. That is the only thing that I don't like. But yeah,
Yeah.
Rebecca's team has the same voice actress.
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's just been long enough since the last one that I didn't.
it's been a while since she got to speak.
I mean, yeah.
Miss you already, Dad.
But yeah, I do think yeah, again, we have a lot of great performances here. John, any thoughts?
I mean, it's the same every week. They do their job, and they do it good.
Yep. I gave the performances a 4 out of 5.
What did I give? I also gave it a 4 out of 5.
I continue to give it a 3.5.
So last up we have the sound. We're mainly focusing on the music here. The score actually has some bite to it. Like there are some good new tracks that added to the emotion.
Yes, I heard it this time. It was very noticeable. It was like, this is actually quite decent.
Yeah. Now, not all of the music though is quite on the same level because there are also tracks
No.
where I'm going, this sounds like elevator music. And the previous movies have been reusing a lot of music throughout. So there's like the most noticeable one is they have like a Mission Impossible style song that they kept reusing anytime there was anything that could be
You start
vaguely Mission
sneaking,
Impossible-y.
you get the Mission Impossible music out.
Yeah, yeah. They had a good like Ace Attorney riff at one point. But yeah, here I didn't notice quite as much of that repeating, but it kind of came at the expense. Some songs really really good, some of them a little bit elevator music.
At least we're getting better.
Yep.
Yeah. I had no major opinion on the music. I thought it was perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Nothing
I
terribly
gave
stuck
the
out.
sound a 3.5 out of 5, slightly better than the last few.
I also gave it a 3.5. I thought it was fine. I didn't particularly notice it, so always room for improvement.
And I gave it a 3.1, which is a 0.1 improvement versus most of them, so good for them. Which leaves me with a total score of 16.5, which is a 66%, or a 3.3 star rating.
Yep, and I have a 19.5 out of 25, which is a 78% or a 3.9 5-star rating.
And I got a total of 20.5, which is 82%, and a 4.1 star rating. Which
Yay.
sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think this is the highest I've rated one of these. I don't know if it's my favorite. I think Scarus is still. Oh, this is underneath Scarus, but yeah, I don't know. I like the characters, and the third act really brought a lot of it home. And especially as we've been talking, especially Samariel, as you brought in these ideas from the Frankenstein novel and how this sort of plays with those ideas and expands on them. Yeah, this was just it was a fun time.
I was so pleasantly delighted by this movie because I didn't know what to expect, especially when it comes to Frankenstein. And like the most recent like animated Frankenstein iteration that I have suffered through was like Hotel Transylvania. And so
Uh,
I did not have high hopes of like, okay, this is the Frankenstein one. Let's see how this one goes. But it was actually like quite good and quite fun and actually had some like really interesting things to say. And so like writing that script was really quite fun, and I don't always get to have fun in that particular arena. And so because I love Monster High outright, I think it's a fabulous, ridiculous idea. Even if I do have problems with it in its various ways. But you know, you always have your expectations low when it comes to the movies made for toys, and to
yeah.
be pleasantly surprised about like, oh no, actually this understands its source material and is delivering on it in a really interesting way. I was like, awesome. Sounds great. Oh, I love this. More of that, please. So, it's good. I loved it. Thanks for letting me ramble about it.
Yeah, it was a delight to have you here. We're always
Yay.
happy to have you join us.
Monsters, man. They're super cool.
Yeah. John, any final thoughts?
Um, time travel.
Well said.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Thank you everyone for listening. Make sure to follow us on social media. We are Binging Barbie Podcast on Instagram and Tumblr, Binging Barbie on Twitter and Serialized, and Binging Barbie, a Barbie movie podcast on Letterboxd. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a 5-star review. Now, Samariel, you have your own YouTube channel here.
I
Um,
do.
this episode is going to be coming out. Looks like end of January. So what's going on over with the Franken files right now?
Probably not too terribly much right now. In at the end of January, there might be a live stream about to happen. Maybe that depends on some scheduling. But mostly, if you head over to the Uncanny Productions on YouTube, you can check out the other Frankenfiles episodes. If you have any interest in learning more about the different Frankenstein adaptations, there's a lot of them, and I'm going to talk about most of them. But yeah, there might be a live stream, but mostly just enjoy what we have so far. Oh, you know what? There will definitely be a new Memento Memorandum, which is sort of our mini series where I just kind of get on camera and ramble. There will definitely be one about Poor Things up.
Oh, I'm
And
curious to see that. I haven't seen it yet.
I also haven't seen it yet because it hasn't been released widely yet, but people keep sending me the trailer and telling me that I need to talk about it. I don't have super high expectations, but I'm gonna do it. So that should also be on the Uncanny Productions YouTube channel. We talk about monsters. We love them. We have them. We want more of them.
Well, yeah. Thank you for joining us, and yeah,
Dude, thank you for
check out.
having me.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so much fun. You bring so much insight that John and I, as people who didn't. I mean, I grew up with Barbie, but I didn't pay much attention to that. And Monster High, we're definitely coming in and sort of like finding our way through here. So to have someone who kind of knows, again, this is your house where we're visiting, and you're showing us all of the different rooms that we need to pay attention to.
Happy to help. It's a guided tour through this lovely, weird mansion that we got here. And it's only gonna get weirder.
Yeah, speaking of which, we will be back next week to talk about Monster High Haunted. And until then, don't let
Ooh.
yourself get sucked into any time machines or time tunnels, whatever.
Time teleporter.
Bye, Barbie.
Bye, Barbie.